Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video for the Roblox scripting tutorial series. Today's video will talk about the Tween service. This service allows you to create basic animations for 3D objects. These are used through Tweens, which I will now tell you how to use. So imagine I wanted to move a part, from one position to another. So I'll just create here a part, let's make it a square. And imagine we wanted it to go from here to here. Here really quickly make a start and finishing part. You don't need to do this, but this is just so you can see it better. And this will be our part, and I'll just color this red, for example. So now we have our part, which is this one, and we want it to go from this start part to this goal part. So I will add a script in server script service. You can tween parts both from the client and through the server. So now first of all we need to get the Tween service. So the way we do this is by just typing Tween service, or whatever you want to call it, equals to game column get service, and here type Tween service. So now in order to create a tween you need to first reference the service column create, and here you need to type first of all the instance, then something called tween info, and finally a table with all of the properties that will change from the part. So if we wanted to move this part from here to here, we will just first of all reference the part, which will be the instance, so game.workspace.part, then type some tween info, which we don't know what is yet, and then finally a table with the properties that will change. So if we want to change the part's position, we just type position, here it's a dictionary, equals to, we can just specify here the position, right, for example, but in our case I can just reference this goal part and get its position, so that way we don't actually have to manually type the vector 3. So now, what is this tween info? Well, this is something which allows you to actually modify the kind of the properties for the tween. So the way you actually use it is just type the variable, and then type tween info dot new, and between parentheses you just have to type the argument. So the first argument is going to be the time, how long it takes the tween to finish, then the easing style, the easing direction, then whether it repeats and how many times. 0 means that it won't repeat. Then whether it reverses, repeats, reverses, and here the delay time. So if you want the tween to start after 1 second that you call it, you can use this delay time. So now about easing styles and easing directions, do not worry, because I will show you what they are later. So for now, let's just type, we want it to take 5 seconds. Easing style, it's an enum, so there are a lot. I just use the linear, and the easing direction is pretty much the same thing. We will use out, then we don't want it to repeat, we don't want it to reverse, and then delay time equals to 0. So right now we have this tween info variable, right? And here we are giving this one, when creating the tween, we are giving this variable. And now if we wanted to play the tween, we have to store this tween in a variable. So I'll just create tween, it's going to be equal to that. Now you can use tween column play to play it. So I'll just first of all wait 5 seconds before playing it. So now if I just execute this, wait, actually I have to anchor the parts. If they weren't anchored they would work, but it's still better to anchor them. So now you can see how after 5 seconds the part moves progressively. The part moves. So this is just what tweening means. Now all of these parameters, well, most of them should be easy to understand, so like the time it takes, whether it repeats, whether it reverses, and finally the delay time. But these two might be confusing for beginners. So I have made something here, okay, that pretty much this would be the easing direction, and this would be the easing style. Okay, so I have just grabbed like the ones I use the most. Okay, these are all of the easing directions, and here are just the most common ones. So if I just execute this, you can see how here the in direction pretty much will play the easing style in a forward direction. Okay, so it will play it normally. In out means that the first half is played normally and the other half is played like reversed, and finally this out tween will play the tween but reversed. So for example, here I'm using the easy style, which would be sine, right? And here it starts off being slow, okay, and finishes being fast. Instead, here in the out, okay, since it's reversed, it starts off being fast and ends slow. And in out, it starts slow, kind of speeds up, kinds of speed ups in the middle, but it ends slow as well. And here we have the easing styles. So the linear is just completely linear, okay, which is the one we used before. Sine is the one I am using here for the easing directions. Elastic, you can see how now it just kind of goes and goes past the goal and then comes back. And the back one is also kind of, it goes and then also goes back. So kind of elastic one, but it's not that much. And finally the exponential one, it just exponential, okay? So it starts fast and ends slow. So this is pretty much the most common easing styles, right? So now let's just play around with this part. So we can also change other things other than the position. So imagine we wanted to change the size, right? So we can just, instead of typing position, type size. I'll just delete this goal part as well as the start part. Okay, make it here. And imagine we wanted it to go from having this 555 size to a 10-10-10 example. If we now play this, you can see how it will just kind of, you can see how it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, you can also change multiple properties at the same time. So imagine right now we have here this red part and we wanted it to turn green. You can just specify that here. So color is going to be equal to color3.fromRGB 02550. Okay, so now you can see how it will both become bigger and also turn green. See, so it's just very smooth. Okay, we could also change this tween info, example, to elastic, and let's see what happens here. See, it kind of, the color kind of glitches out because after green it doesn't know what color to become. But instead, if we look at the size, you can see how it becomes bigger than it should and then kind of shrinks. Okay, so it's really cool. So that's everything for this video about tweening. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe so more people find my channel. Also, if you would like to know more about what easing styles you can use, you can also check Roblox documentation. Bye!